Paul,
Hey,
how you doing, buddy?
good. You've got the official whiteboards behind you there. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of whiteboards. Pretty much every wall in this office is a whiteboard.
That now you're talking to me. That's like my right
Yeah,
there.
I get it. I get it. I mean, at our actual offices, we have this specialty glass that's put on every wall in the battle room, and I mean, it's just from floor to ceiling. I mean, everything is just plastered with this stuff that we write on.
I as a total side note, I worked for a solar company for a while, and what I did is I helped them uncomputerize
Mm,
because everything was in the computers, but they didn't really see it. So there was a 30-some foot wall in the design board. I mean, in the design room where they did the engineering,
yeah.
and I got everything out and did a flow chart across that, so we knew where every job was on a big Post-it, bigger than these, and you move the Post-it across, so you could walk in the room and know everything that was going on in the company, where the jobs were stuck, where they were, how much money was going, everything. It's making the invisible visible.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean,
No,
I'm an advocate, obviously, of being paperless, as much as you can, but the boards do help. I mean, we use Trello boards as well, for processes, and we are highly technical. We do a lot of tech stuff, but everybody has to use it, right? I mean, it's just part of our culture, right? I mean, everybody's in the Trello boards every day. It helps us keep track of when projects are due, when they're complete, and it just really gives everybody a bird's eye view of where we are in the process of every project. So yeah,
right.
I'm not a big advocate of paper though. The boards here, that they certainly serve a purpose, and they work. So I mean, as rudimentary as it may seem, they certainly work.
Oh, it's powerful. Okay, well, I'm putty in your hands. I sent you the info. I'm sorry, I should have sent it to you earlier. I was going anyway.
No worries, I got it. Took a look at it. I took a look at it last night. And basically, the whole strategy here, or the just kind of to set expectations. The purpose of what Joel and I had decided to do with each one of the students is really get a true understanding of where they are in his process first, right? Because in large part, what my team does is we help take clients to market, but they have to have a certain amount of things already completed and ready to take to market. If they don't have anything to go or anything ready, then I don't have anything to present. So ideally, in large part, I'm going to do kind of like a whiteboard with you, share here with you. But give me an idea. I know you've been with Joel for quite a while. How long have you been studying with him?
Oh, I don't know, a year and a half. And
I'm listening. I'm listening.
the problem with Joel's stuff is he's got the micro and the macro, but he doesn't have the middle O. Like, he's got all of the little details. You go on his website and so I'm saying this with love. It's not like bitching about Joel. But the problem is he needs some middle people,
Yeah.
because I don't want to call Joel about not being able to find something on his website.
Yeah, and just bear in mind that these calls are very confidential. Okay,
Yeah,
so this
yeah, and like I said, I'm not complaining. I just so I have products. I have anywhere from, I'm just getting it launched now, a $97 product. I'm not sure if it's Bridging the Gap Compassionate Communication for couples.
okay.
I have another product that is a recording from a 90-day program that I taught with a previous partner, and it was $4,000 to go through it as a couple. And I'm thinking about marketing it, because that included coaching. I'm thinking of marketing it for $997 for all the recordings and the whole thing.
Okay.
I have my ongoing coaching, which is basically I take couples and create a breakthrough and take them through this, help them understand their ROS, which is your relationship operating system.
Yeah, I saw that in some of your papers. Yeah.
All right. And that is a 10 session process, and that's $3,000. So these are all things like we could do tomorrow, today. What I want to do is create another big group program, because I want to move away from a little bit of the one-on-one to bigger group program, which I'm creating right now, which is the Love by Design, Making Your Relationship Remarkable, and start with a Facebook group and get it so it's like a 90-day program. So that's where I'm headed.
Okay, and we're gonna fill all this out. So I mean, I really like what I'm hearing already, because in large part what I was gonna do is I was gonna show you basically how to build out your ascension model. So after as soon as I start to share the whiteboard, I'll show you what that ascension model is supposed to look like. And then we're basically just gonna fill in the pieces of the puzzle based on the things that you've already got created, or that you can basically create in a relatively short period of time because you already have the frameworks. How many modules have you gotten through of the Mentoring for Millions program?
God, I don't know. It's like got through, I don't even remember how many, because getting through, it's like there's a piece missing, so I don't complete it. So I probably got through 3 that I actually completed, but I've probably seen 30 of them.
Right. So then I guess my next question would be is like, if it's, let's say you consumed 30 modules, right? Even though you didn't complete every particular assignment in every module, if we were to look at it as a whole and say 30 modules is 100%, what percentage would you say that you do have completed of the 30 modules that you've seen? Just a ballpark.
40 or 50%. I mean, I have a best-selling book right here.
Okay, I was just getting to that. So let me go ahead and share my screen then, because I was just getting to that.
I have here's my fancy card.
So you've got your card, you've got your emo dream card, you've done all the rudimentary stuff.
I've got 5 different websites or 6 different websites. Between the 2 Facebook accounts, I've probably got about 7,000 or 8,000 people.
Okay, hold on. Don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me, because a lot of those things I want to chart out here. So let me go ahead and do a quick share of the whiteboard here. Okay, and let me know when you can see the whiteboard.
It's coming up. Now I see it.
Okay, it's on the wrong screen though, so I'm gonna have to reshare that over here. Put that on screen number.
So the big thing, John, in some ways is I have a lot of the pieces of the puzzle, but I don't have the box top, like how to fit them together and make them work. And
I'll help get you clear on that. And then the other missing component that I have found. So obviously the big picture here is this, right? I mean, when I started looking at everything that Juill was doing and everything that Juill offers, and then looking at the success of the students, okay, at various levels, what I immediately identified is that Juill is a master, obviously, at what he does. He's just not a master at the marketing component, which is what I'm a master at, right? So, getting these students from, where it is that they are and where it is that they'd like to be, that was the chasm that was in between what Juill teaches and bridging the gap, if you will, to getting the student to where they need or want to be. So in large part, that's why we formed this, this partnership now to help get a higher percentage of students into the success side of things, right? Because I don't care how great your widget is, if you can't market the widget, right, then you're dead in the water. Okay.
Right.
I think we all agree.
Hearing that, and I've got behind me attraction, conversion, delivery. You probably can't see that. That's on the lower whiteboard back there, but
okay.
So, and I get the distinction between, and you probably know the golf metaphor, the difference between marketing and sales.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me move some things around here, as I've got too many screens here. Let me see. Let me get off of that screen. Okay. I'm going to stop share. And now I should be able to reshare to the right screen number 2. Okay, let's see if this works this time.
And the biggest frustration for me, which probably came through there, is how do I get my head and my heart into the copy so that people feel it? Because people come to me like they've been to 6 other therapists before they sit down with me, and they haven't been able to solve it. They come in, they've had affairs, or they haven't had sex in 2 years, or, it's like they rarely come to me with saying, hi, we'd like to improve our relationship a little bit. We're really good, but we want great.
Yeah. So they're kind of like on the outs. There's a lot of, disconnection and stuff.
Yeah.
By the time they get to you.
Yeah. And if you look at, and then I'll hand it back to you, the 3 levels, if you think of health, there's problems, prevention, and possibility.
Okay.
So some people go to the doctor for problems. Some people go to somebody like Hilda, who works, as part of Joel's group, as prevention. Or then there's what's possible. What can we do with our body? What, as an athlete, how can I? And it's the same with relationships. They either come in with their problem, they want to prevent something, or they want possibility. So most of the time, and it may be because of my marketing, I'm dealing with the problems, a little bit of prevention, and a few people for possibility.
Got it. Okay. And we're going to talk about your marketing because that's going to be an important understanding. Are you a professional marketer?
It depends on whether you think, no. So the simple answer is, if you look at my results, no. If you had a conversation with me, I could talk marketing like nobody's business, but I can't deliver.
Okay. All right. So that answers a lot for me. Remember, too many people are out there trying to figure out how to do everything themselves. And that is an absolute no-no, because what does that do? Is it takes away your focus from what it is that you're good at. And then if you're not focused on that, you really can't deliver optimal results to your clients. Okay. So the idea here is to stop trying to figure out how to do it all and to start partnering with the right people that can do what they do best and allow you to do what you do best. Okay. And the way that basically looks is, you understand, do you understand what an ascension model is in marketing?
Yeah, I think so. The ascension of the low to medium to the high end.
It's a simple value ladder. It's just basically a value ladder of your product support and service offerings, right? Where we take people from a cold audience. Now, you've been at this a long time. How many years have you been doing what you do?
Well, I probably over 20 years.
Okay, as a profession.
As a profession, but it's I go in and out of it. Like I go, this is driving me crazy because my marketing sucks and I don't have as many people as I want. And then I can't quit. It's like sometimes I wish I could.
But the thing is I mean, is your passion to help couples?
Oh yeah. Okay. I want to leave a legacy of love. It wakes me up early, keeps me up late.
Is it one of those things where you bounce, where it motivates you to get out of bed every day and do what it is that you do?
Yeah.
Okay, because if it's not that, then we've got an issue.
Oh, no, that's not the issue.
Okay. All right. So the fact that you acknowledge that your marketing sucks, don't take this the wrong way. You're not a professional marketer. You're not a professional copywriter. And unless you are those things, you're not going to be able to effectively create the right message to market match. Joel talks about this a lot.
Yeah.
Now, talking about it and translating it in terms of social media and the digital realm are, two very different things. Obviously, I know if you're in front of a group of couples and you're teaching teaching what it is that you do so well, right? We need to get recordings of that, because the way that you speak to couples, that's getting them the results and seeing the looks on their faces and how what you're telling them resonates with them. Those are like the little nuances of your vernacular or of your delivery or of your message. Those are the important things to know, because we're going to need to translate that stuff and move that into the digital ecoscape. Okay. Now I'm going to start at the bottom here. I'm going to start this out very basic. A lot of this you may know. That's why I asked about the ascension model. And I'm going to put some things here to make this easy for us. Okay. I'm going to show you what the ascension should be, and then we'll move into what it is that you have that we can fit into these components or into these spaces. Okay.
I'm just going to screen capture. I see you recording. I'll just catch.
No need to screen. Oh shoot! No need to screen capture. You're going to get a copy of everything that we do today, including the video.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want you to be worrying about taking notes. I really want you to be focusing on what we're doing here, and then you'll get a copy of the video to review. You'll have a copy of this whiteboard and anything else that we create today. And this isn't where it stops. This is just as far as my whiteboard goes. Obviously, there's a whole nother realm of things when you get into live events, retreats, and let's even start there. Let's even start here. So this higher rung of our ladder, this is actually where we're already doing, live events, and these live events can be called a lot of things. They could be called the lover's retreat, right? I just pulled that out of my ass, as Joel says. Could be a lover's retreat, could be a workshop, could be a couples. I like this. I think in copy. That's the thing. I think in copy because we do it all the time. How about a couples mastermind? Okay, so those are just a few ideas, right? Couples mastermind, a workshop, a lover's retreat. These are all basically live events, okay?
I was thinking of maybe a couples master class. Mastermind is the intellectual side, and
true. Yeah,
I'm trying to move into the heart.
I got it. Yep. Yeah. So again, I'm just spitballing, right?
Right. No, I get it.
Master class, absolutely. Okay. And then ideally, what we're going to be doing here is this is going to be a webinar. This is going to be a full course. This is going to be a 14 to 30 day challenge, or this could also be what we call a mini course.
The other thing to fit in there somewhere is that I do is a breakthrough session.
That's going to be part of this. A breakthrough session is where you're identifying who, if they're ready to work with you.
Yeah, I get them clear. What's the issue? Are they kind of had it laid out? Is this relationship problem worth saving? What would it take to solve it? Or it's a relationship problem worth solving. What would it take to solve it? Am I willing to do what it takes, and what's my plan for moving forward? And I normally charge, like on my website, it's $397. And if they go through a workshop, or a webinar or something like that, I offer it for $190.
How much time do you spend with them on that breakthrough session?
An hour to an hour and a half.
Okay, yeah, that's something typically you're going to want to charge for. I would like to see you give that away, okay? But you don't want it to be an hour and a half. You want it to be 30 to maybe 45 minutes, no more.
Well, I'm working on, I know you said you don't like paper. You should see my desk right now is all paper, but
okay, I saw that. I remember you sent me that. Yep.
And that, if you think about it, that is a visual survey about relationships like nobody has ever created before. As far as I know, it is my creation from beginning to end. Not that, needs aren't my creation, but the layout, the whole concept.
Right.
And so if we do that, I might be able to get it to a 30-minute or 45-minute. I don't know. I haven't been able to do that as well because it's creating that rapport, and I'm working normally with two people because it's a couple and it's a delicate thing, and maybe I need to figure some different things out. But yes. Okay.
So I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm saying that in a moment. So let me work you through this process here first, okay?
Okay.
And this is all about what do you call your program? What is it?
Which one?
Your overall package, right? This is all about, you know, couples, relationships. What's the name of your business first of all?
Well, I call it the Magic Relationship Method. And then I wrote the book, Argue Less, Love More. And so I've got websites with both of those in it.
Okay, Magic Relationship Method. All right. So now I see it. Show me your book again. How many pages is your book?
Here's my book. It's
too big already.
116 pages, and it's easy reading. And I did not write it by the Juill method. I had already written it. It took me about 6 months to write and 6 years to edit.
Okay. Ideally, what we want to do with that book is we need to kind of rip it apart and make it like a real brushstroke version with no more than 80 pages in it. And I'll tell you why that's going to be powerful here in a second. Sounds to me like you've been doing this obviously for a lot of years. What is your current revenue right now with your business?
Oh, my revenue is terrible. I'm almost at zero. I stopped doing almost all my one-on-one consulting, and it was working at building my evergreen program. And
so everything that you've been doing, Paul, is not working. So what does that tell you need to do? Very simple, right? If what you're doing isn't working, you need to change what you're doing, right? And that's probably from a marketing standpoint, because I'm sure you're brilliant at delivering your content and getting transformations in couples, right?
That part I'm not worried about.
Okay, so think about it very basically. This is not rocket science, right? This is marketing. Marketing is scientific. It's a scientific thing if you understand how to apply the formulas, okay? And it's like that. What's that adage or that analogy or the adage that people use about insanity, right? That's kind of what you're doing. You keep doing the same thing over and over. You're not getting results, or you keep trying too many different things. You're all over the board and none of it's working. So we need to get you clear on how this is going to work. I will present to you today a surefire way to get you the results that you want, if you're open to that. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason that I say that we need to rip apart that book is because that book becomes an important factor in attracting the right couples that you want to be working with. Now, remember, there's a difference between who you want to serve and who you're serving now, right? You have to think about very carefully. One of the most important things to understand is what type of couples you want to be working with. Okay. And now, it could be argued that, and I've had this conversation with clients before. I say, hey, who is your product, service, or support offering good for? Everybody. I'm thinking, wrong answer. It's not for everybody. All right. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes. Who is it that you have to start thinking about? You have to identify who your dream clients are. Okay. If you understand that, I can show you how to message things to get in front of that dream couple. Okay. And I'm not talking about simply, you need to think very deep on that. What's their age, right? Are they a unisex couple? Are they, you have to think about everything. Think about everything that you possibly can, right? Are they a like gender? Are they not like gender? They've been married for a long time. They have their newlyweds. You have to think about all of these things, really get granular on this idea. The more granular that you can get on who it is that you want to serve, that helps me as a marketing person understand how it is that I need to message and get in front of that right person. If I just have a broad stroke, look, there's, think about the number of people that just in the United States, right? Okay. It's a big world out there. And so the more that you can be granular on this and more detailed, the easier it is for me to help you get in front of that audience. A lot of people just don't understand who it is they want to serve to begin with. They need money, so they're willing to work with anybody and everybody. And I tell you, that is a recipe for disaster.
No, you got me at hello. And the quick answer to that
you may not be able to answer it now because
I've been
okay.
Like I said, I've studied a lot about marketing. But they're normally 45 to 65. They are smart, successful, still love each other, but don't have the tools. They've run into a problem in their relationship that's bigger than their skill set. They most likely have been to counseling, therapy, and done personal growth, might have studied with Tony Robbins, Landmark, Byron Katie, that whole group. They value personal growth and have spent money on it. They won't have a big problem spending $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 on their coaching. Typically, they're entrepreneurs or CEOs. They're people that are in more self-employed or entrepreneurial than employee mindset.
Okay, now I hear you. I hear you pulling this out of your brain. Do you have this written down in some sort of an avatar sheet?
I probably have it in a bunch of different avatar sheets. I don't have a sheet in front of me, but I've done this before. And
okay, because ideally, I'd like to see you actually, because there's something magical happens when you put a piece of pen to paper. And I know I said I don't like paper. I don't necessarily mean physical paper. It could be in a Word document, right?
Yeah.
It could be a Word document or something like that. But you need to be very clear about who it is that you want to serve. And the more that you can be clear on that, the better it's going to help me from a marketing standpoint, right? So a couple of broad stroke notes, right? 45 to 65, entrepreneur, or maybe like a C-suite level exec. C-suite exec.
I don't know what a C-suite is.
C-suite is like, somebody that's in a presidency or vice presidency.
Oh, okay.
That's what they call the C-suites. So it's a high level executive.
Got it.
Entrepreneur, some sort of an executive, has tried other things before. That's an important element, right?
Yep.
Maybe they've been to therapy, right? Couples therapy. Right? Maybe they've done, oh my God, this thing is really messy.
I'm so glad it's you writing instead of me.
Couples therapy. Give me some other things. So we've got an age, we've got their
workshops, personal growth, people like Tony Robbins, Byron Katie. Tony Robbins is a good thing because I used to work for Tony, so that kind of gives me added credibility.
What about the types of things? So we've touched on a couple of their values, right? Like they value personal growth, right? Understanding their hierarchy of values. This is a deep concept. I usually don't have this conversation with too many customers, but if once you understand who it is that you want to serve, that's going to start to help you understand what they value. It's all about what they value in the end. Do they value intimacy? Do they value family? Do they value material things? Understanding their hierarchy. Now, this all comes from a guy by the name of Dr. John DeMartini, right?
Sure, I know.
Okay, so he has that thing, right? I studied with John a very, very long time ago. This is all about understanding their hierarchy of values. Once you understand their values, it makes it even easier to create your messaging because you can speak to them based on those values, what they value most, right? So the whole exercise of identifying who your dream client is, that's like the first portion. That's like rudimentary stuff. And I can do a lot of stuff with that. I mean, I could take it to market just with that, but you're more of an intellect also, right? Because I mean, you've trained and worked for, other people that are in the personal development space, which is really nothing more than a bunch of psychology, right? That's all psychology stuff. And so when you understand the psychology of messaging and marketing, then now we're really getting to the stuff that my team is all versed in, right? I mean, I've got guys that, I mean, we collectively, we have over 60 years of experience between my team and I. We've been at this, I mean, personally, I've been at this for over 21 years. So, you know, I've done a lot of training myself, and you know, Dr. John DeMartini was one of those guys that I really, when I started to understand how to connect people's values to my messaging, it just makes it so much easier to persuade them. We never do that in a malicious, you know, in a bad way.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're trying to get to. Now, let me get back to this basic ladder thing first, right? So your book, we need to strip down that book. It needs to be no more than 75 or 80 pages. It's okay to cover the same topics, but in much less granular detail. And I'm going to tell you why this is important, right? And I don't know this to be a fact, and I'll ask you the question. So on Facebook, how many followers did you say you have on your Facebook page, not your profile?
On
your Facebook page, not how many friends you have. How many?
Oh, okay. The profiles. I mean, the pages. I probably only have. They're like 20 and 30 people. I have the profile is where I mean. Yeah, the profile's where there's the thousands of people.
Okay, how many people do you have on your profile then? Because I'm going to show you how to take your profile, your friends that are on your profile. I'm going to show you how to take those friends, create a page, and to where all those people become followers of your page. This is important. If you want to leverage social media.
Oh yeah, I get it. You
okay?
Got me.
If you want to leverage social media, and you start to run paid advertising, which is the fastest way for you to grow and scale your business. This is a pay-to-play world now. You can't, organic doesn't work anymore. And I'll tell you why, because you can ask Peng Joon. I've had many conversations with him about his millions of followers. But if he puts a post on his page, not all of his followers are going to see it. Facebook doesn't allow that. They don't do that anymore. If you want to get in front of your own audience, you've got to pay to get in front of them, right? Every single social media platform, whether it's professional like LinkedIn or social like Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and all the other ones, those were all created as advertising platforms, not a social place. They were created to create users, and eventually at some point in time, that would be converted into a place to advertise to those users. That's the simple fact of it. Okay. And you can't, nobody can argue otherwise. You ask any of those people that started those social media platforms, and they'll tell you that the intention all along was to build a massive user base so that they could then sell advertising on that platform. That's what it was designed for. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if you were to guess roughly, how many Facebook friends do you have on your profile?
But I have two pages, actually. I mean, or two profiles, and between the two of them, I have about 7,000.
Okay, 7,000. Okay, are you on Instagram?
I am, and that is, I don't know. I had all this written down, but I don't have it right here. It's a small amount. It's maybe hundreds.
Okay.
I have the Twitter's nothing. LinkedIn's probably about 300. My mailing list for Magic Relationship Method is, God, it's like 4,000, but there's only 300 or 400 that seem to be really active. So I need to, and I wish I'd gotten them over to Facebook a while ago, because at one point that list was 10,000.
How many is it at now? People have opted out of it?
Yeah, people have opted out of it, and the addresses are no longer good and stuff, and so
okay,
they're probably about.
What we'll do is we'll do a forensic. You can do a forensic of your list and determine which email addresses are not validating, because you don't want to be sending email to email addresses that are no good, because your email account will be affected. So you have to do a scrub. You have to scrub your list periodically. We do this for all of our clients as well. We scrub their list like every 3 months. We make sure that if the email address is not valid, we put it in another file to go ahead and try and validate it later. So email, you have how many thousands?
About 4,000.
Okay, and I believe me, I understand that, you know, they're not all active, they're not all opening your email. I get that. Email deliverability and open rates right now. If say you have a list of 4,000, right? I would probably guess that you have somewhere around maybe a 15% open rate. Do you follow your analytics?
I do somewhat. I'm on one, that's a one shopping cart list. I have a second email list. It's about 300. That's a much more, it's a newer list on active campaigns. So the 300 is much more alive.
Because they're probably fresher.
Yeah.
Okay, email, active campaign. I'm familiar with that one. Okay, so email 4,000. So there's, we could go really deep into this, but we're not going to have enough time to do all of it. So ideally, what I want you to do is I really want you to focus on your ascension model, because your ascension model is I'm going to show you how to have like 40 to 50% of your income automated, meaning passive. And then your active income is really just going to be where you're coaching and mentoring couples, but at the highest dollar amounts, right? You don't want to get personally involved in your process until monetarily it makes sense, right? Like you're not going to be working with people one-on-one or even in groups for $97, right? It's just not, it's not the right exchange value. It's not the right value exchange, right? So what we need to do is we need to strip down that book and get it down to like 75 or 80 pages. You want it to be a staple bound booklet, not glue bound or anything like that. I'll show you a prime example. You basically want to create a booklet that looks like this. This is Peng Joon's, okay? You ever seen this book?
I have it right over here.
Okay, so you see how it's staple bound, right? This is a staple bound book. It's got 2 staples on the spine.
Uh-huh.
If you've got it, just look at it. This is the style of book that you need to create.
All right, it's not right here, but I thought it was in that pile. It's in a different pile of books.
Yeah, okay. So basically it's just a staple bound, it's a staple bound booklet that's made from an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So it's not a custom size of paper. So custom sized paper costs more to create. It's just a sheet of paper like this that comes out of your printer. And the way that they make the booklet, right, is they take this sheet of paper and all they do is fold it in half. Right? So now this sheet of paper, when folded like this, if you'll notice, it's the same exact size as that booklet, right? That's what it is. So this is very inexpensive to produce. So that and this is the same size. 8.5 by 11 folded in half. Okay. The reason that this is important is that I know based on weight and other factors and shipping costs that to ship a booklet that size from the Pacific Northwest in Washington State to South Miami Beach costs $7.95. I already know that because we do the research. Anywhere else in the country is going to be less. Now, where are you based out of? In Colorado?
No, I'm in Carmel, California.
Oh, because you had a 303 number. That was interesting.
I have a home in Colorado, but
oh, okay. All right. So this book becomes it accomplishes a lot of different things. We're always going to be giving that booklet away. That's going to basically be the carrot that we dangle in front of the cold audience to get them into Paul Sterling's world, right? I don't know. The reason that I ask about social media following and things like that is because as soon as you start running paid ads, have you ever run any paid advertising on Google or Facebook or anywhere else? Okay.
Google, Facebook, YouTube.
Okay. So the key to making that work is that one of the first things that people do when they're clicking on a sponsored ad is they go look at the page that's running the ad. And if that page has no following, you have no authority factor, right? You have no celebrity factor, no wow factor. People don't know that they can trust you yet because you don't have any following, right? They don't take people seriously that don't have a following. I know it's a vanity metric, but that's what people look for, okay? The other thing is that you want to make sure that you're actively posting in your social media profiles. You got to make sure that you're posting. Always value-based post, not look what my cat did today, right? These have to be value-based posts based on what it is. Teach people what it is that you do, but just give them nuggets here and there. Don't give them the entire puzzle. You give them a piece in the upper right-hand corner, give them a piece in the lower left corner, give them a piece somewhere out of the middle. You just don't want them to be able to connect the dots, okay? That's how you're going to be able to continually provide value without them being able to put the whole pie together. So posting on a regular, when I say post on a regular basis, I do mean daily. You need to be posting content daily. Content is king. And if content is king, the top of that, the ruler is going to be video. Video content is the best. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, and I'm set up. I've set up, rearranged the office to be able to do that. So I've got a green screen over there, or I can work here. I've got my whiteboard. I've got a flip chart.
Green screen is overkill. Remember, people want to be able to relate to you. They don't want to see that you're, this high-end professional with green screen and all this cinematography and all these widgets and all. That's not realistic for the average person. They don't have that stuff in their home office. What converts the best is authenticity, raw and native. That whiteboard behind you is all that you need. If you need to illustrate something, illustrate it on that whiteboard right behind you. Put the camera in front of you. The two most important things about any content that you put out that's video are going to be the lighting and the audio. So make sure that you have some sort of a lapel microphone, a lavalier microphone, because when the audio comes through nice and clear, it has an increased conversion ratio as opposed to something where it sounds like you're miles away from your microphone, okay? So you can get a very inexpensive wireless lavalier microphone that will tether, that you can pair to your phone. You don't even need special camera equipment. Do these recordings on your cell phone. You don't need special equipment.
Yeah, I probably have all that. I mean, I have a Yeti. I don't have the Yeti, and I don't have it on right now. It's just sitting over there, and I have.
But remember, if you're in front of the whiteboard, right, and your Yeti's on, a Yeti is a desk microphone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking about having something clipped on your lapel.
All right, I will look and see if I find my lavalier mic, because I know I have.
Audio is very important in your videos, okay? So the audio and the lighting, always make sure that, it looks like you've got, if you have lighting, you want to make sure that the lighting is always coming down towards you, never behind you. You never want lighting behind you. Otherwise, you're going to look dark in the video. Just some basic things first, okay? Now back to the book. We're going to be giving this book away. We're going to be charging people $7.95 to ship it to them. Okay, what does this do? As soon as somebody is willing to put their credit card information online, we know that's a micro commitment that they've made to you. Okay, micro commitments are important. Now that $7.95, if in fact it's going from the Pacific Northwest to South Miami, that's only going to cover the shipping, which means that you're going to be in red for the printing of the book. But there's going to be probably very few instances where you're shipping it to one extreme to the other in the country, right? So anything that's left over from the $7.95 is going to help start to offset the printing of your book. I'm going to show you how to do this for practically free, okay? Now, there's things that we can do to help increase the shopping cart value. Most people don't read in the United States anymore, but we know based on, but whenever I make a claim, I can support it with data, right? The average person does not read. However, because data tells us that the average person commutes anywhere from 45 minutes to 1.5 hours to work and back from work every single day, they've got a lot of downtime in their car. So what are we going to do? We're going to do an order bump right here, and this is going to be an MP3 audio version of your book. You could read it, or you could hire somebody on Fiverr like that does voiceovers. Now you've got a pretty strong, powerful voice, right? We want that would probably be okay, but you're going to have to subdue the voice a little bit, make it calming, make it enjoyable, make it, a very, you don't want a towering, booming broadcaster person reading your book, right? We're talking about an intimate subject matter, right? Couples, right? Love, sex, all these things. So we want to talk to people from that perspective. So we want to make this a very inviting, whoever's reading the book, we want to make sure that it's a very inviting tone, okay? So what we're going to do with that MP3 audio book is we're going to also do this is really not an upsell. This is just called an order bump for another $7.95. So all we've done here is we've increased our cart value to almost $16. Now I know for a fact that between this $16 and the MP3 is a downloadable thing. So it's not something physical that you have to create like the book, right? So this $16 that's in the shopping cart now is going to cover the shipping, and it's now going to cover the cost of the book printing. So the book is basically going to be free. And that book, a 75 to 80 page book, should not cost more than probably $2 to $2.50 to produce, especially if it's a staple bound book, right? Glue bound books get more expensive because glue weighs more than 2 staples in a book. Okay, so that's why I say staple bound is better than glue bound. Some other things to understand here is now that we've got $16 in our shopping cart, we know that we're covering our shipping cost. We know that we're covering the cost of our book, but there's definitely going to be leftover money there. What are we going to do with that money, Paul? We're going to throw that into advertising, right? So this whole process here is called an SLO. You understand that term?
Nope.
Self-liquidating offer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so all that we're doing is we're trying to liquidate our hard costs, right? Shipping costs, which the client, the customer is paying for, the printing and the advertising. So I could show you how to do this model to where you could acquire prospects for free. That's what this model is designed to do. Yes, you have to put money into advertising, but when you do this properly, most of that advertising cost is going to be offset, right? So now you're getting prospects into your pipeline that basically haven't cost you anything, or they've cost you very minimally to get them in there. The acquisition cost, the acquisition of a client is the most expensive prospect of the entire model. Once you get them in there, then I'll show you how to really maximize, okay? So now, obviously, when these people order this book and this audio, they're going to get put on a list, which you understand email lists, right? And the whole purpose of what we're going to do with these lists is we need to talk to these people. And let me go ahead and start this now. Every one of these rungs on the ladder, right? Every step in that ladder is a separate funnel, because we could drive traffic into the front of the funnel with the book, or if we just wanted to drive people to the webinar, we could do that too. We could run traffic just to get people to a webinar if we wanted to. So these are all independent funnels, and every funnel has its own independent list, email list.
So I get that.
Okay, if you have questions, go ahead.
Yeah, because mini course, like the online, the $4,000 course we did was basically over 90 days. Most of it was webinar, and then we'd had a live 3-day event in the middle of it here in Santa Cruz. So people came from around the country that were in it.
Okay.
But I'm wondering about the mini course. Wouldn't that also be a webinar? You're using that term.
No. You don't want to, a mini course is always going to be video tutorials supported by worksheets or templates or blueprints, things like that. Because it's it's a $97 investment. You got to do, you don't want to be doing a webinar for $97. It's just not justifiable yet. The webinar comes into play because we know, again, based on data, that people are willing to spend anywhere from $0 to $1,000 without having an additional touch point. The webinar is the additional touch point that people typically need when you now have an investment that's going to be in excess of $1,000. That's what the webinar really is, okay? And your webinars need to be relatively short. They can't be more than 45 to 60 minutes. People don't have the time, and people's attention span is smaller than it's ever been. So webinars, the way that I'm using the webinar, right, is basically to be able to get them to an application process that leads them to a phone or video conference where you do the selling on the phone, right? Because people are, when you're asking somebody to invest $1,000 or more, they're going to have some questions. They're going to want to make sure, obviously, you know, the Ascension model is designed to build trust as well, because we're taking people from a cold audience that don't know who Paul Sterling is yet. And then if we just approach that cold audience and say, hey, here's my widget, it's $2,000, here's where you enter your credit card information, they're going to leave. They don't know you yet. They don't know what you stand for. They don't even know if they don't know you. They don't know if they like you, and they don't know if they can trust you yet. So
Yep.
we need to nurture them. We need to indoctrinate them into all things Paul Sterling and what you're about, right? If you try and skip any of these steps, you will not have success. I guarantee it. I think you may be already seeing some of that. Okay. You need to take, these are the necessary steps to nurture people when they come into your world. You need to show them that you truly care by constantly giving them value. They need to know that you care about them. They don't care about you. They care about themselves, and you need to show the same care for them. You have to have you have to have that interest in really wanting to help them with their problem.
So how do I get them? Because I just started a group rather than a page. I have pages on Facebook, but I just started a group because I was going to do a launch in December.
How are you attracting people to your group? It's the same process. You still need to introduce them to yourself. How are you getting people into your group?
I haven't even started. I just set up the group. Now I'm going to do that, and I'm going to send out an invitation. I've got to put some quality content on there first,
right?
Before I put them in the group.
Okay.
You know, and I've probably got about 50 or 60 different videos on YouTube that I can bring some of them over. Some of them are not my latest information, but I won't.
That's okay. If it's still valuable information, it can be repurposed, right? Maybe it's not what you're teaching right at this moment, which is okay. Because now you can say, hey, now I've completely revamped my whole process. I've got this new thing that I'm doing now that's getting way bigger results. If you liked those videos, you're going to love this new stuff, right? This is how you move people from an older methodology that you may have been teaching, and how you've completely, based on the experience and the results, now you've got this new process that's even getting better results.
Yeah, I've got to figure out how to do this because I screwed myself over. It's been about 4 years ago. I made a video for a friend who had a company, and they put it up on their website, and then they're on their YouTube account, and that video went viral and has had 5.4 million views, and I have not had, it's on their site, and I haven't figured out exactly how to monetize that because it's my content, basically.
You own that. That's public domain. Anybody could use that video. As soon as it's on YouTube, you can use it. It's yours. You created it.
Oh, I know that. I'm trying to think about, I have no problem with that. He ended up selling the company to some, and we had such a good relationship. He just put my tagline, everything down in the content, and the woman that now has it is somewhat of a, different.
That's okay. Doesn't matter. Still your content. She doesn't own your content. You could.
Right, but I'm not worried about the content. I'm worried about the 5.4 million people.
Okay. You're the one that's in the video?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So look, it's very easy to draw the connection. If you were to post that video, right? And on your own, let me think about something here. So that video has over 5 million views. It's on somebody else's channel, but you're the one delivering the content in the video.
Yeah, and I don't. You can ponder that, maybe we don't need to deal with it right now, but
yeah, let me convene with. I'll mention that to Alec, because Alec is my guy that handles YouTube and Google. I know there's a way that you could be able to leverage that. I'll have to pick his brain. That's right in his wheelhouse.
In a second I'll send you the link, and you can just save it for later. And
okay, perfect. No worries. The saving grace there is that you're the one that's in the video delivering the content. So that I know it can be leveraged somehow. I'll check with him to get some ideas from him.
I know she's probably gotten 10,000 subscribers from my video.
Okay. And what is she? Okay. So what is she monetizing?
She's got intimacy courses too. It's on Tantra and sacred sexuality. And so she's another
So she's your competitor.
Yeah, at some levels.
Got it. Okay. We'll find a way to leverage that for sure. I'll come up with some stealth strategy. I'll have to talk to Alec.
Your name and how old are you? My name is Colin Cloud.
Whoops, sorry, I pressed the wrong darn button here.
No worries.
Stop
No worries.
making noise.
Okay, so you're starting to understand, I'm trying to get you to understand this basic premise of this ascension thing that we need to do, right? Because we've already tried to test models of where we go from a cold audience to like a high ticket thing of $2,500 and above. And unless you've got a lot of social proof, a lot of credibility, you've got the celebrity factor, you're the go-to expert in your niche, it's a tough road to hoe, right? So that's why I'm saying that, it's all about making sure that you've got followers, you're actively posting daily. You've got to be doing that stuff. People want to see that you're active and that you're always in there talking about and promoting value. Social media is it's the only place that I know where you can get your message in front of a massive target audience in a short period of time, if you understand how to leverage it. So the book, though, is a vital component because that book becomes the bait that we get people in. Now, 2-3 years ago, it was all about, downloadable ebooks or reports or white papers. However, people have gotten a little smarter now and they don't see any perceived value in that anymore. That's why having the physical book is the way to go, right? So after they've gotten that book, because these are all individual funnels, when they come through here, we're going to push people as far up the value ladder as they're willing to go in one fell swoop. But now not everybody, people may stop at the book, but we've already got their data in a list, right? But as soon as they opt in for the book, the next trigger is going to be the thing about the audio MP3 is because they've already entered in their contact data and credit card information. There's nothing left for them to do except put a check mark in the box to say, yes, I want the audio version as well. So it's very little resistance. They don't have to do anything special other than toggle on a little check mark, okay? And then as soon as they do that, as soon as they do the book and the audio, then we're going to show them, we're going to show them the next offer of the mini course or challenge, whatever we decide is going to go there, right? Now, I know you had talked about something for $97 or $297. It looks like there was a price range of that one product that I saw. Can't remember what it was. Let me get my.
It's bridging the gap between us. It's a compassionate communication course that's 3 modules long that I am just releasing now, which is, see, at some levels you were saying you need to do something different. That was me actually doing something different. That was me creating an evergreen course. The first
one, yeah. So you've got a range of like 97 to 129, 129 for 3 modules. How many hours of content is that?
It's about 3.5 hours.
Okay, that's a little bit much. That's actually a great value, right? But we don't want to go over the $100 mark for the first upsell, right? So if we can keep it at $97, you'll sell the hell out of that, okay? Because of the sheer amount of content. Typically for $97, I typically recommend people create 3 or 4 modules, no more than 2 hours of overall content, and then break up the modules into like between 15 and 25-minute lessons, okay?
Yeah, that's broken up into 4 to 5 lessons per module.
Okay.
And they're about 15. There is one that's 26 minutes. That's the longest.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
And
then
each
you've got
module,
templates, worksheets, all that stuff that they can download.
journal.
Perfect. Okay, so we have that rung of the ladder filled out. Now, that mini course, do you have a more robust version of that same thing, but that goes into more granular detail?
No,
I'll take that as a no. So
no.
let me ask the next question then. Do you have something that you believe would be valued at between $297 to $497? Digital course.
Well, it depends on what I do. The digital course I have is I was going to sell it for $997 because it was a $4,000 course. It was a 90-day course. It's got.
Okay, then we may want to leave that at $997 then, that particular course that you're talking about now. But then we still need to fill out that rung for $297 to $497. We need to find something to fill that spot. This is why I do this, right? I take what you already have created and we identify which rung of the ladder that should be positioned at. And then if there's any rungs left over, we need to come up with something to put in those rungs, because you cannot skip these steps. If you skip these steps, your conversions will go down.
Well, I can send you 3 things. I can send you an e-version of my book, because me writing another book right now feels like.
You don't have to rewrite anything, Paul. That's what I'm just saying. Take the content that's in the book and rework it. That's all you need to do. We just need to strip out some of it. You don't need to rewrite anything. This is not coming up with new content. It's just stripping down the fat.
There's very little. This is like an easy to read. It's got the worksheets in there.
We don't want them to have any of that at that point, though. That's too early on in the game. Yeah, the worksheets and all that stuff comes along when they're willing to invest money. They haven't invested any money here. They're just covering the cost of shipping. We don't want to give them too much yet. Right? So, you know, I can tell you're struggling. You're grappling with this. Like, oh, it took me all this time to write this book, and I poured my heart into it. I feel your pain. I see the look in your eyes.
Well,
right?
I just have been working on this mini course, and I thought it was going to take a few hours. There's been hundreds of hours. Like my girlfriend hasn't seen me in bed at the same time. She goes to bed for weeks because it's like I've been trying to get everything finished. Writing is my least favorite thing.
Okay.
Rewriting, the reason it took so long with the book is each time my editor sent it back and said, check out my editing, I would end up changing things. And finally I told her, do not send it back to me. It needs to be published. We need to do not send it any more times, or I will just keep changing it.
All right. And again, I feel your pain, but what you have to trust me on this, right? I know how this model works. And I know this model, the first 3 rungs of this ladder are critical. The book rung, the mini course, and the full course. Those 3 rungs of that ladder are anywhere between a $20,000 and $50,000 monthly business by itself. Those 3 rungs of the ladder. If you miss these steps, you will be missing out on that kind of money. So let me preface it by saying that. Okay. This is all about creating a passive revenue stream so that you can go focus on doing the active things that are being done at the higher rungs of your ladder when you're doing your group coaching and stuff like that. That's what gives you the luxury and freedom and flexibility to do that stuff. If you do this backwards, if you only do live events and group coaching and all that stuff, you will have to continue to work to the day you die, because you don't have any passive income built into your model.
And that is exactly why I started doing the Evergreen mini course, is so that that wouldn't be that way. Mm-hmm. You know, it's my first time through it, and using Everlesson has been just a major pain in the ass for me.
Yeah, Everlesson wouldn't have been my recommendation. I mean, there's like Thinkific. There's a few others that are a little more intuitive than that particular one.
Oh, that one is like and Chad has got the personality. Anyway, yeah. I'll stop there.
Don't worry, I've heard all this before. So the point I really want to emphasize and stress here, though, is that those first 3 rungs of that ladder, I mean, you know, that's what's going to give you that freedom that you want, right? If you didn't want to do live events for a while, you wanted to take some time off, take a month or 2 or 3 off, your money train doesn't stop, right? This is the problem that I identified with Joel's model. Joel's model is broken. He'd be the first to admit it, which is why we are currently, my team is ripping apart the Mentoring for Millions course. It's 52 weeks. It's way too long. It's got way too much content. that needs to be like 3 or 4 or 5 different individual membership courses. So without Joel's model is broken. He cannot stop working because he has no automated. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got investments and other things, right?
Well, I understand.
But I mean, as far as this thing, if he stops working, that money stops coming in. That's what I don't like to see entrepreneurs doing, right? We need to create a passive side of your money stream as well as an active side. But that active side, if you decide to take time off, you know you're still covered.
Right. I just sent you the link for the bigger course that, I mean, just for me not having to go and create something right now, we could even sell it to $497. It's probably worth a lot more than that. But
Okay.
But since I did the course, I haven't sold one, like I haven't even been trying to sell them as an individual package.
Okay, so this course that you're talking about right now, this is not what you're calling the mini course, right?
No, this is not.
So is this the course that we were kind of talking about maybe selling at the $997 price point?
Yeah, it's got 6 modules, and each module has like at least 3 or 4 hours. There's the content and then the Q&A side in each module.
How many hours total content?
Well, 6 times 4, 24 hours.
Wow. Yeah, that's too much content for $500. Yeah, that does belong at the $997 level for sure. So let's look at a theory here. If we were to do that and put that at the full course rung of the ladder, what would we do at the webinar level? What do you have that we could offer there for $997, between $997 and $1997? You're going to have to recreate something at some point in time, it sounds like, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I agree. This model that's right behind me is the simplification of everything I've learned. So here is the 2 seconds. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of things that influence and impact your relationship, but there is one system that's driving it and 7 skills. Now, it took a long time for me to get to that simplicity. But the system that's driving it, and I know I showed Joel this and he went crazy, but basically this little thing has 149 programs on it, but one system that's running it. You could screw with the programs, it won't change the system. You change the system, it changes all the programs.
I love the analogy.
All right. Then there's the 7 basic core things that you need, and almost every relationship problem or issue you've ever had ties into these 7. So I have never had it this clear before. Now I'm trying to go from the survey, which is the visual survey, right on through, so it just runs right up the ladder. Okay. The communication course, Bridging the Gap Between Us, is one of the 7 skills. It's a core skill. Like all the other skills depend on communication.
Yep.
So it's getting your needs met, because that's the only reason to be in a relationship. Resolving conflicts, because every relationship, no matter how wonderful, it's got conflicts. It's about wounds and triggers, because we all come into a relationship wounded and triggered, and how quickly can we handle it will show how available we are in a relationship.
Understood.
Dealing with trust, intimacy, differences, and in the center, communication. So that's right there is it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I like the simplicity of it. I mean, simple is better for people for sure. Now that what you just explained to me, that covers the robustness, the full on course that you were contemplating putting it like at a $997 price point.
Yeah, and if it's a live one, I was thinking of $1997.
A live one, live virtual live or live in person?
Live virtual over like a 90-day course that we take, because it's easy to say, you know, communication, but it's takes a little bit to learn it.
Sure, teaching people how to communicate is an important element.
Yeah. So that I sent you it's called the beta bridge, that hyperlink. That takes, I put several things in the messages.
Okay.
And the beta bridge, that's the beta testing, bridging the gap. So I've got my team that's beta testing it. So you can look at, that's the mini course. The one up above it is the full-size course, and the one up above that is the YouTube video.
Mini course, full course, and then the YouTube video that you told me that the other person.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that YouTube video, how long is the video? Do you remember?
It's 6 minutes, and it's got 5.442318 million views.
How long ago was that put up?
2013.
Okay, so it's got some years behind it. Okay, cool. It's still relevant. It's still getting clicks, which is good.
It's accelerating. I mean, and part of me is pissed off, and I'm thinking of just replacing it, because I'm not getting the benefits of it right now. And the guy who created the video will redo it with my logos and stuff, and I start over.
Do you know how did you send me the channel that is on YouTube?
No, but you can just click on it, and the channel's right there.
Okay. And then so do you know have you ever hacked the funnel that leads into, however they're utilizing it? I'm sure they've got some sort of a link to click through to something. You need to reverse engineer or hack their funnel first. You need to see how they're utilizing it.
Yeah. Well, she sends it to her website anyway.
That's what we want. I want to see her website. I want to see what it is that she's doing, right? Look, whenever you've got a competitor, you want to go in and do a deep dive on and research how they're marketing their services. Right?
I consider her a non-competitor competitor. I haven't paid any attention to her. She's not anyway, but I'd rather research people that are doing a really good job.
Okay, I'm opening up these pages now because I didn't have it open before.
She's done some work on it, I can see.
Monday.com is a platform to track everything your team is working on. We use it for all our projects: marketing, product development, HR, creative productions. I love Monday.com because it's totally customizable, and that's something I couldn't find in any other management. I can choose what information I want to track: project owners, statuses, deadlines, which means more time for actual work.
Oh, that's an advertisement.
Yeah, definitely. That didn't sound like me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I've got all these bookmarked here. I see your site, Relationship Magic, and the Ecstatic Intimacy. Is that her or is that you?
That's her. Ecstatic Intimacy is her.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give you my other website.
This is what we want to reverse engineer here, or not reverse engineer, but this is what we want to hack. I want to see exactly everything that she's doing here. So let me see this. So this channel that this is on is this Tantra Exploring Sacred Sexuality. So she owns that. Oh no, sorry. So yeah, I see. So I see how she's using the video now. All right. Yeah, that's actually on her channel, Ecstatic Intimacy. She has this video.
Right.
Got it. Understood. Now, who's in the video? Who's doing these demonstrations, these illustrations?
So I'm the person doing all of the talking and stuff in there. And I have a couple of friends that volunteer to be the models. And
got it. Yeah. Okay, so there's no way to do any kind of a link swap. It'll be interesting to see if we take this same video, because I mean, I could take this video, right? I could take this video very easily to, download it onto my computer and have you upload it. It would be interesting to see if there's any kind of IP locks on this or anything like that. Like,
well, the person who created the video isn't the person who currently has it on her channel. She bought that. She bought the whole company from him. He will redo the video for me, put my new logos in there and do all that. I've been trying to find someone to make the logo and I haven't got somebody yet. So I can just tell her to take that down. But anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll cover that bridge when we get to it. Okay. Okay. So ideally here, I kind of want to wrap this part of it up.
Sure.
Right? Because, I really need you to fully understand, how this ascension thing works, because it's critical. It really is critical in you being able to do your coaching and one-on-one work, because this passive revenue stream that these first three rungs are able to create, I'm telling you, they're going to set you free. When you see, right, that you're able to generate, $20,000 to $50,000 per month on autopilot, then you can really start to vest your time and energy into working with people a little bit more intimately without the worry, right, of, hey, all of these people that you don't have to be so reliant on working with people one-on-one or in groups, right?
No, it sounds exactly like what I've wanted.
So the only part here that I know that you're grappling with is the restructuring of your book. I'd say use the book that you have, except I know that $7.95 is not going to cover. We're not going to be able to cover shipping because that book is too many pages. I know that book is going to be. It's going to go into the next postal rate tier, and it's going to cost too much to ship a book that big because it's too heavy.
Well, I ship it it's like $2 and some per book. When I ship it from here, I ship it book rate, and they, and the package between the package and the book, it probably cost me about $3.50 to $4 a book to send.
Okay.
So, but that's that's me doing it, which is,
yep.
That's the whole idea, is to not be doing this.
Well, in the beginning, you're going to have to do your own fulfillment, right? In the beginning, until you get to the point to where, now we're shipping enough books that we can have a fulfillment house. You just ship all your books to a fulfillment house, and then you just send the order to the order when it comes in through whatever system we're using. It just sends the email to whoever's doing the fulfilling. They get it, they handle it. You don't got to worry about it. You don't even know that, you don't even know, other than you get an email that says, hey, a book was shipped to these people, and that's it.
All right. Well, I just sent you a copy of the book and the cover, the e-version. So you've got basically everything. So then the big cost, big check. Go ahead.
We could certainly test using that book, right? I mean, being that it's already created, I'm a little concerned that there's, a lot of really valuable content in there that, that would have been the lead in to the $97 course. Hey, if you've got value out of this book, right, it's kind of like you're giving them just enough to hook them, but not so much that you can't sell them something else at the next level.
And the mini course is 3 modules. This book is like one of the modules. The first module is about how to avoid pushing your partner away and stop doing damage. There's 5 mistakes that people make in communicating that trigger your partner and push them away and have them stop listening to you. That's what this is about. That's what module 1 is. Module 2 is the 4 steps to creating instant intimacy.
Okay. All right. I like that. So they don't have everything they need in the book.
No, they've got one part of it.
Okay. All right. Look, it's worth the test, right? The book is a little bit more robust than I would like it to be, but it's certainly not it's not out of the realm of possibility that that it could work and work very well. And then the only other thing is then just to figure out, to make sure that you've got courses to cover rung 2 and rung 3. And then, the rung 4, the webinar, I know you had something that you wanted to put in that spot. And then obviously we have your live events, and then everything else that happens after that are like 6-month and 12-month opportunities to work with you. But by the time they get to that point, you will have already garnered a lot of trust. They will be, you will be in a position to start commanding, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to work with you for 6 months or a year. I mean, we do this all the time.
Huh. In the area of relationships, that boggles my mind. I know the value, but it just still, people are, I want to learn how to market that. That would be great.
How much do people pay for, how much do you think people pay for therapy with a psychiatrist or a therapist?
$200 to $300 a session. They spend thousands of dollars.
They spend years in therapy.
Yeah. And normally they come to me and they say they get more in that breakthrough session, that first session, than they got in years of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm coming from it at a totally different realm. The difference here is I'm looking at the systems, and most therapy is looking at the symptoms.
Yep. Totally agree. Yep. It's just like Western medicine, right? We're treating the symptoms. We're not treating the root cause.
Yeah.
Okay. Same principle.
Yeah, exactly. Same principle. That's how it goes. Now the big question is how, because I have invested so much in marketing that hasn't worked, I am at the edge of like my finances. And I know you don't do this just because you think I'm really a cool guy.
Paul, I do think you're a cool guy.
I know that.
I've seen you at Joe's events.
The big question is, now that I'm a cool guy, what's it cost?
Yeah. So you weren't on the cruise, and you weren't at the last masterclass that I just came back from. So there were offers made there on how people can work with look, not everybody is well suited to work with an agency, any agency for that matter, not just mine, because they just don't have enough stuff put together yet. Okay. You seem to have a lot of stuff put together. But most people, right, like I say, I mean, I have a special arrangement with Joel because the pricing that we've extended to anybody that's in the Joel Bauer community is not what my agency charges, right? So
I hear you.
But but that being the case, I think right now, and actually, I mean, even with the onflux, with the current onboarding that we're doing now from the cruise, because that was 18 people that came on board from the cruise. I mean, my calendar is actually booked out for like the next 3 months anyway. I mean, I couldn't even take on another client right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, these sessions, I mean, these are, again, this wasn't intended to try and sell you anything. This was just the whole purpose of these sessions was just trying to get people clear on understanding where they are in the Joel Bauer process and what it is that they need in order to have something to take to market. You've got what you need to take to market to a large extent, right? You've got most of these rungs of the ladder already completed. The marketing, however, that is the last element that you need. Without the marketing, I don't care how great your stuff is and how well it works. You can finish, pretty much finish that thought, right?
I could have said that thought. I'm with you. I understand the value of sales and marketing.
Yeah. So, I mean, each one of those rungs on your ladder there are, like I say, individual funnels. So you already have like a 5 funnel build out. The offer that we just made at Masterclass was for $19,000, and that does not cover ad spend. That covers us building out the entire infrastructure with every integration. So my agency works in 2 different ways. We do the entire design, build, and launch. We call it design, build, and deploy. That's about the infrastructure, the actual funnel infrastructure, how they're all interconnected to be able to upsell, downsell, and cross-sell, right? How we could drive traffic into just the bottom of the funnel or any independent funnel along the way, right? And then the other half of the coin is the marketing component. So we do both components, right? We do the build out, the design, build out, and deployment. And then we also do the same thing on the marketing side for all, for up to 5 complete funnels.
Hey, I've got it. This is totally beside the point, but you have 3 Ds here. You can design, develop, deploy. Design,
develop, and deploy. Yeah, that's actually the words that I chose for myself in terms of helping businesses are identify, implement, and improve. That's for me personally. But yeah, but I like the design. Yeah, I like the design, develop, and deploy.
Okay.
Yep, I love that one. So, but ideally, I mean, not ideally, but typically, like I say, the offer that we just made at Masterclass was for $19,000, and that included everything, including the first 2 months of managing the advertising. That does not cover the ad spend, though. That's in addition. You have to cover the cost of the investment in the ad spend. And that's going to be anywhere between $1,500 to $3,000 per month in advertising. But for every dollar that you put in advertising, right, we can show you how this model will generate at least $1.50, and that's just the bare minimum. That's where it starts. So it's kind of like an ATM machine. And I ask clients this or prospects all the time. I said, look, if I could show you a way where for every dollar that you invest in your advertising, you could get back $1.50, how much budget would you allow me? And you'd be surprised at how many people actually give me a number.
How much can you spend?
Exactly.
And keep the ratio.
Yep. Actually, the ratios only get better because what happens, right? Initially, we're optimizing and scaling to a large degree in the first couple of months. After that, when the pixel and all that stuff starts to optimize, then the cost of advertising goes down, right? Which increases the return that you're getting back. It's all about the optimization and scaling. Once you've optimized, then you can scale it. Then you go into scale. And once you start to scale, your advertising investment goes down considerably. Now, there's a lot more to this because, this is, I could start talking all kinds of techno babble to you about,
No, it's okay. And I've got to jump off and get on I've got a mastermind call. They're starting without me, I guess, but
yeah, you go. Do what you got to do. let me do a quick screen capture here.
All right, I'll do one just so I got it. But do you ever do like the first 3 modules? Go like
a 3 funnel build out?
Yeah.
Look, we're not a cookie cutter agency, right? So we're not a one size fits all agency, right? We'll custom tailor, an offering and a program and based on what the client, really needs and what what they're willing to invest. So we can put together a custom proposal.
Boy, the idea of having the 15 or 20 or whatever $1,000 a month coming in on a regular basis, that's really good. And the full course, I can see that full mini course in that could be a webinar that I do that ends up revealing all of that.
But yeah, look, we've covered a lot of ground, right? This is a lot to contemplate, a lot to kind of try and clear up in your brain. But, we're not going anywhere, right? I mean, my agency has been here for a very long time. We're not going anywhere. So, take some time, just make sure that you have all this stuff built out, right? If you've got the things to go in the places, in the various positions, you're good to go. Now it's just a matter of, determining what the right message to market is for that dream client that I talked about earlier, understanding who that is, and then structuring the messaging to appeal to them.
And how do you get the people from the Facebook profile to the page?
With advertising. We put ads on Facebook. Oh, sorry. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. So right now, there is, if you can take all of, I'll send you the link. There's a link where you can take all of your friends that are on your profile, create a new page, and they will automatically be migrated over to that new page.
I would love that. That would be, and you've been amazing. Thank you. You're like a wizard.
You're very welcome. I hope you got value out of that, and I'm hoping there's some things there, that have got you clear on what it is that you need to do, and how to start to kind of formulate and deploy some things.
Yeah, it's sort of like the box top now, for the jigsaw puzzle. Now you put all the pieces in these places, but this is a big picture.
Yep. And then again, remember, look, if you're going to try and figure this all out on your own, how to build all that stuff out and how to launch it, look, it's going to take, your mind is going to be so messed up that you won't be able to effectively get the results you want for your actual clients.
Can I ask Frank Kern for my money back for all the courses I took from him that I can't apply?
Frank is a buddy of mine too. I can't believe it. Yeah.
And he's a good guy. I mean, I've been on stage next to Frank, and it's, but it's just, I
know. Yeah. I mean, his, he just partnered with Grant on that new way, the Cardone Kern agency. Yeah, they're in another stratosphere though.
Yep. All right.
Paul, I know you got to go. I'll let you get to your mastermind. If you have any questions, ping me on Facebook or anything like that. I'm happy to try and help in any way I can.
Yeah, and you've got my book, so you can read it. I sent it to you in email.
Okay, email, very good. Okay, all right, awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that.
And you've got access to all the courses, so you can at least take a look and go,
Very good. And believe me, obviously, I know a lot of couples. If there's couples that I know that I can send your way, I will.
Thank you, John. Ciao.
Thank you. Have a great day.